Hello everyone and thank you for being with us in this new report from the NGO Scaph Pro.
Seagrasses of Philippines. Seagrasses are flowering grass-like plants which are adapted to saline habitat. A total of 13 species have been recorded in Philippines with marine biologist Menes, Phillips and Calumbong from 1983 to 1985. This represents 27% of the total species reported worldwide, second only to Australia which has 23 species. This document is key to the species of seagrasses in the Philippines.
Today we return to the Philippines to discover the seagrass meadows. An inestimable ecological value.
Seagrass are either grass-like or not grass-like in gross external morphology, except for species of Halophila, which have oval and elliptical leaves. The rest of the seagrass have long, thin strap-like leaves, and a monopodial growth form. The plant arises from a creeping underground stem or rhizome. They attach to all types of substrates, occurring most extensively on soft ones. They are found from the intertidal region to depths of 30 meters, but are most conspicuous in the shallow subtidal area. There are two major types of seagrass meadows in the Philippines, which are dependent on specific substrates. Those that thrive primarily on sand-dominated substrate are of the Seringodium Cimodocea Halodo Association, while those that grow primarily on muddy substrate are of the Enhalus Thalassia Association. Monospecific stands are rare and those encountered were generally in very specific environments. Enhalus acolytes in highly turbid protected embayments. Halophila decipiens in deep habitats. Thalassia hemprichi in tide pools in the northernmost islands of the Philippines.
These seagrass meadows naturally filter water, regulate erosion.
Two species, Thalassodendron ciliatum and Halophilia decipiens, are more limited in their distributions. Thalassodendron ciliatum, although found in shallow water, is associated only with clear waters and cores of rock substrate, while Halophilia decipiens grows primarily in depths of 11 to 23 meters deep. Representatives of the 7 genera, considered characteristic of tropical seas, are found in the Philippines. The most widely distributed and tolerating a wide range of temperature and habitats is the Thalassia hemprichi, colonizing as far north in Batanes, Tomalita, Davao Gulf in the south, all the way to Tawi-Tawi. It thrives in muddy, sandy to coral substrates. One species that may be considered endangered, if not totally extirpated from Philippines waters, is Halophila beccari, although this has been reported as growing in abundance in the South China Sea and Bay of Bengal. The only specimens collected from Philippines were from Manila Bay in 1912. The Philippines seagrass flora is part of the Indo-West Pacific flora and is closely related to the Caribbean, with a few genera shared with Australia and 2 genera shared with the Mediterranean. This flora does not share any seagrass species with the northeast and northwest coasts of Europe and America. Such differences may be explained via movement of land masses via tectonics event, and with them, their ancestral biotas, followed cues parallel speciation and extinction.
These seagrass meadows naturally filter water, regulate erosion, stabilize sediments and prevent coral suffocation. By sequestering carbon and producing oxygen, They maintain the overall health of coastal ecosystems, which underlines their important ecological role.
In terms of economic and ecological importance, the major functions of seagrass: 1. Stabilizing and holding sediments, even through the enormous stresses of hurricanes and temperature storms. 2. Slowing and retarding water currents and waves, promoting sedimentation of particulate matter, and inhibiting resuspension of organic and inorganic matter through leaf action. 3. Shelter and refuge for resident and transient adult and juvenile animals, many of which are of recreational importance. 4. Food for grazers. Epiphytes. And detritus feeders. 5. Source of organic matter. As the plants attain high production and growth, leaves of some species can grow 5 to 10 seth per day. 6. Production and trapping of detritus and secretion of dissolved organic matter that contribute to nutrient cycles within the ecosystem. In addition, it also serves as nursery ground. The role of seagrass beds as food, habitats and nursery grounds for fish and invertebrates in the Philippines are well documented. Dolar and Lepitan in 1991 and 1992 reported that the rabbitfish Siganus canaliculatus population alone in the 52 hectares base bay in Negros Oriental consume about 0.637 metric tons weight of the seagrass and halosaccharides per day, equivalent to 0.32032 grams weight per square meters per day. She calculated this figure to represent 0.0007% of the organic production of halosaccharides. In other words, about 0.0006% of the primary production of the dominant seagrass in Base Bay is transferred to the rabbitfish population.
Phanerogamas have overcome all climatic extremes since the time of the dinosaurs. But will it resist modern man? It has roots, which allow it to absorb the nutrients it needs to feed itself and reproduces mainly by cloning, but also thanks to the fruits it produces, similar to green olives. If it grows very slowly.
In terms of nutrient cycling, two pathways are involved: detritus-based food webs and the herbivore webs. In the first pathway, dead seagrasses or litter decompose, breaking into smaller particles, which are then eaten via various detritus feeding organisms. In the second pathway, seagrass are directly grazed via a variety of vertebrate and invertebrate herbivores such as sea urchins, certain species of fish, turtles and sea cows. Seagrasses beds in Philippines waters are threatened via the increasing human population, which need extra space for food and food production, settlement, waste disposal and recreation. Undocumented thousands of hectares of seagrass beds have been lost as a result of reclamation of coastal area for housing, airports, piers and commercial complexes, and from pollution and siltation due to deforestation.
Its populations, which look like meadows, are in reality forests. The Posidonia ecosystem provides essential ecological services, such as sustainable carbon sequestration, protection of beaches against erosion where it accumulates in benches, the role of spawning ground, etc. The monetary value per hectare of the Posidonia ecosystem would far exceed that of coral reefs and the Amazon forest. The seagrass flora of Philippines is characterized by a high species richness, and mixed meadows are common one. There are 13 seagrass species found in the country.
Protecting the remaining seagrasses beds via declaring certain area as reserves and marine parks continue to be a big challenge. Rehabilitating degraded beds using seagrass transplantation has been tried in limited areas. Different seagrasses of Philippines. Syringodium esotifolium, commonly known as noodle seagrass, is a species of flowering plant in the family Cimodocece, growing underwater in marine habitats. Easily recognized due to its cylindrical, solid leaves. Their rhizomes are slender to 1-5 in diameter. Luckily branched roots arise below the erect shoot which bear 2-3 leaves. Male and female flowers are in separate clusters in the same plant. Halophila ovalis. These are small plants with rhizomes barely reaching 2 in diameters. One root is usually present below each erect shoot. The erect shoot consists of a pair of transparent scales enveloping a pair of leaves. The leaf blades vary in shapes, from oblong to oval, elliptic, or spaphulate. Occasionally lanceolate or linear. 4-12 wide, 8-25 long. Apices of the leaves are rounded, the margins entire, with 22 pairs of cross veins which are often forked. Halophila spinulosa. This species of Halophila is unique in that the erect shoots are long with leaves arranged in 2 rows. Pedicellate with 2 basal, ovate with serrate apex. The leaves are sessile. The basal portion of one side is folded. Semi-amplexicolous. Leaf blades are linear oblong, 20 ilaw long, 3-5 wide with serrate margin. There could be up to 22 pairs of leaves on one shoot. Halophila decipiens. There are deep water species, growing subtidally in 11 to 23 meters deep. Rhizomes are long and faint, not more than a diameter, bearing a pair of leaves on each node. The leaves are piscillated, enveloped by a pair of transparent, orbicular to ovate, elliptic stipules with hairy dorsal surface. Oval, oblong or elliptic with round tips and minutely margins. Both surfaces of the leaves are beset with microscopic, unicellular hairs. Halophila minor. This is probably the smallest seagrass found in the Philippines, with rhizomes barely reaching isadiath in diameter and leaves 2-3 wide, 2-8 long. The leaves are piscillated, enveloped a pair of transparent, orbicular scales with rounded apices. The leaf blades are elliptic or obovate with rounded apices, entire margins and 4-7 of cross veins. Halodropinifolia. These plants usually grow on exposed sandy intertidal and are recognizable either they're narrow, not more than 1 cm wide. Linear leaves are inconspicuous alley, shaped midrib at the tip. The rhizomes are up to 1-5 in diameter with 2 to several simple or laxly branched roots at each mode. Erect shoots are short, bearing 2-4 leaves at each node, enveloped ovate scales, which are not persistent at maturity. The leaves are 4-15 long with slightly rounded, irregularly serrated leaf tips and entire leaf margins, the basal portion enclosed by sheaths, 3 long. Halodul uninervis. This species is larger than Halodul pinifolia, growing in the lower intertidal to subtidal, usually on sandy substrate. The leaves are also wider with 3 nerves, the middle one very distinct, ending in the median apical slightly rounded tooth. The lateral nerves ending in 2 abruptly pointed teeth, making the leaf tip tridentate. Thalassodendron ciliatum. These plants grow on the subtidal with clear waters reaching 45 cl high. Their rhizome is thick, up to 5 depth in diameter, 1 to 6 roots on nodes, with tough, rare laterals, no more than 1/5 depth in diameter. 2 stems are produced at every 4th internode on rhizome, one fully developed long and erect with numerous leaf scars and another, usually an undeveloped stem bud. The upper part of the erect stem is compressed, but the basal portion is terete. There are usually 6 truck-shaped, sada, like leaves per stem, up to 10 cm wide and 13 cm long. With rounded, denticulate leaf tip, the apical teeth line, shape. Leaf margins are irregularly serrate, the serrations becoming distant and few towards the base with the lower half of leaf margin almost entire. Cymodocea rotundata. The rhizomes are robust to 2 depth in diameter, bearing 1 trilaterally branched roots per node. It's of up to 4 cm in length, usually forming scarious mass at maturity. When shed, conspicuous scars are left on the stem. Leaf blades and linear, 2-4 cm wide and up to 10 cm long. Slightly cellulate aphysis and 8-12 nerves. Cymodocea cellulate. This can be differentiated from Cymodocea rotundata give its sada-shaped leaves with round, serrate leaf tips, and 8-16 nerves connected gears cross, veins. The fruits are nearly elliptic, compressed, sessile and with dorsal ridges. And Halus acoloides. This is the largest seagrass in Philippines, reaching key height of more than a meter, preferring muddle substrates. The rhizome is thick to 1/5 cl in diameter, deeply embedded in substrate, bearing many roots up to 2-5 depth in diameters, up to 15 cm long. Black, persistent and very dense leaf fibers mask the rhizome. 3 to 4 leaves are produced directly from the rhizome. The leaf blades are linear to 1/5 cm wide, reaching 1 meter in length with rounded leaf tips, beset occasionally with minute serrate projections when young. The leaf margins are entire, slightly rolled. Characteristic tough, black vascular bundles persist even after death and decay of other leaf tissues. Thalassia hempeche. These are moderately sized plants with rhizomes of 2-4 depth in diameter. The roots are clothed with dense hair-like laterals, 1 per nodes, if present. Erect shoots are sparsely distributed along the rhizome. Each erect shoot bears 2-6 leaves enveloped via 3-8 cm long shoots. Leaf blades are linear and distinctly sada-shaped, particularly in less grazed areas. 4-10 cm wide, 7-40 cm long, commonly less than 25 cm long, with rounded, occasionally uneven apices and entire margins. Each leaf has 10-16 nerves connected gears cross veins, the median nerve often conspicuous.